Have you ever caught someone you care about in a lie and immediately thought the worst? It's a natural reaction. We often see lying as a sign of malice or disrespect. But what if I told you that for many people, especially those struggling with their mental health, lying isn't about hurting others? What if it's a desperate attempt to survive? Today, we're diving deep into the complex and often misunderstood relationship between lying and mental health. We'll explore why it happens, what it looks like in different conditions, most importantly, how you can support someone you love without enabling them or losing yourself in the process. This conversation might just change the way you see honesty forever. First, let's reframe our understanding of lying. For many, it's not a calculated act of deception, but a coping mechanism. Think of it like a shield. When someone feels overwhelmed, ashamed, or terrified, a lie can feel like the only thing protecting them from a perceived threat. This threat could be judgment, abandonment, or the painful reality of their own struggles. It's a short-term solution to an immediate, overwhelming feeling of panic. This is especially true for individuals with anxiety disorders. The fear of disappointing someone, of conflict, or of being seen as a failure can be so intense that a lie feels safer than the truth. They might lie about finishing a task they were too anxious to start, or about how they're feeling, simply saying "I'm fine" when they're crumbling inside. This isn't done to deceive you maliciously, but to manage their own internal storm of fear, dread. Let's look at how this can manifest in specific mental health conditions. In the context of bipolar disorder, for example, lying can occur during both manic and depressive episodes, but for very different reasons. During a manic episode, a person might experience grandiosity and impulsivity. They might make extravagant claims about their abilities or achievements, not necessarily to fool others, but because, in that moment, they genuinely believe it. Their perception of reality is altered. They might also lie to cover up impulsive behaviors, like reckless spending or risky decisions, driven by a fear of the consequences once the mania subsides. Conversely, during a depressive episode, the lies are often born from shame and a feeling of worthlessness. They might lie about their energy levels, their ability to function, or hide the true depth of their despair because they don't want to be a burden to others. Then there are conditions like borderline personality disorder, or BPD. A core feature of BPD is an intense fear of abandonment. This fear can be so all-consuming that it drives behaviors aimed at preventing it at all costs, and lying can be one of them. Someone with BPD might lie about their feelings, their needs, or even fabricate situations to test a person's loyalty, or to pull them closer. It's not about manipulation for personal gain in the way we typically think of it. It's a panicked response to the terrifying belief that they will be left alone. They might agree with everything you say, even if they feel the opposite, just to avoid a potential conflict that they fear could lead to you leaving. Rebuilding trust in these relationships requires understanding that the lies are often symptoms of deep-seated pain and fear, not a reflection of their true character or their love for you. We also see this connection in disorders like schizophrenia, where cognitive distortions can blur the lines between reality and delusion. A person might say things that are factually untrue, not because they are intentionally lying, but because they are describing their own perceived reality. Their experiences, which might include hallucinations or paranoid delusions, are very real to them. Trying to argue the facts with them is often counterproductive and can increase their distress and isolation. The key here is to validate their feelings. That sounds really scary, without necessarily validating the delusion itself. This shows that you are on their side, that you are a safe person to talk to, even when their reality doesn't align with yours. This is crucial for maintaining a connection and encouraging them to seek and stick with professional treatment. It's also important to touch on addiction, which frequently co-occurs with other mental health challenges. The cycle of addiction is often riddled with lies. People may lie about the extent of their substance use, where they've been, or what they've spent money on. This lying is typically driven by a powerful combination of shame, guilt, and the intense compulsion of the addiction itself. They lie to protect their ability to use, to avoid confrontation, and to hide the reality of their situation from themselves and their loved ones. They are often caught in a painful paradox. They desperately want to stop, but the addiction has such a stronghold that it overrides their best intentions. The lies become a tool to manage this internal conflict and the external pressures that come with it. Understanding this doesn't excuse the behavior, but it provides a context that moves beyond simple judgment. So, you've recognized that the lying might be a symptom. What do you do now? How can you support this person without feeling like you're being taken advantage of? The first and most critical step is to stay calm. Reacting with anger or accusations will likely reinforce their fear and make them retreat further. It validates their belief that the truth is unsafe. Instead, try to approach the conversation from a place of concern, not confrontation. Use I statements to express how their actions affect you. For example, instead of saying "you're always lying to me," you could try, "I feel hurt and confused when what you say doesn't seem to line up with what's happening. It makes it hard for me to trust you, and I want to be able to trust you." Tone. The next step is to focus on building a safe environment. This means demonstrating that they can be honest with you, even when the truth is difficult. It doesn't mean you have to approve of their behavior, but you can listen without immediate judgment. Let them know that you care about them as a person, separate from their struggles or their actions. You can say something like, "I know things are really hard for you right now, and I want you to know that you can talk to me about it. We'll figure it out together." This creates a foundation of safety. It's also important to set clear, healthy boundaries. You can be supportive without enabling harmful behavior. For instance, you might say, "I love you and I am here for you, but I cannot give you money if I'm not sure how it's being used." Boundaries are not about punishment. They are about protecting your own well-being and creating a structure that encourages honesty. Ultimately, navigating this requires professional help. You are not a therapist, and it's not your job to fix them. Slibby. Encouraging them to seek therapy is one of the most supportive things you can do. You can offer to help them find a therapist or even go with them to their first appointment. And just as importantly, consider seeking support for yourself. Dealing with a loved one who struggles with mental health and lying can be incredibly draining and emotionally taxing. A therapist or a support group for families can provide you with the tools and a safe space to process your own feelings of frustration, hurt, and confusion. Remember, you can't pour from an empty cup. Taking care of your own mental health is essential. If you or someone you know is in crisis, please reach out to a local emergency service or a mental health crisis line. There is help available. Rebuilding trust is not an overnight process. It's a journey that requires immense patience, consistency, and a whole lot of grace for them and for yourself. There will be setbacks. There will be moments of doubt, but by choosing to lead with understanding and empathy, by creating a safe space for honesty, and by supporting the journey toward professional help, you create the possibility of a stronger, more authentic connection. You show them that they are more than their illness and that they are worthy of a relationship built on truth. It's one of the hardest things you might ever do, but it's also one of the most loving. Thank you so much for joining me for this important conversation today. If this video resonated with you, please consider liking it and subscribing to the channel for more content on mental health and relationships. Share your own experiences and thoughts respectfully in the comments below. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.